This is fun. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Yay. It was fun, and now it's less fun. Hi, welcome back to my channel, La Fraise. I'm Noémie, and today we're making the Persephone pants, which I have on right now. So, little spoiler alert, it works out in the end, and I'm going to manage to make them. So, already you don't need to sweat about if it's going to work out or not. And as usual, there's kind of the vlog section where you can see kind of like how everything goes. But if you just want kind of like the key points, you can go straight to the end and see kind of like what's important to know if you just about to cut into your fabric and make those pants. I advertised this video as kind of like the Persephone pants if you are hourglass figure, curvy and short. Now, don't fight me on am I curvy enough, am I short enough? Like, the thinking about the video is that I've seen a lot of people on Instagram looking really tall and slim wearing those pants, and I don't identify as tall or thin. And so therefore, when I see those people on Instagram, I'm like, okay, great, it looks beautiful on them, but how is it going to look on me? And so that's kind of what I wanted to test with you today. If you are shorter and curvier, is it worth it for you? And I also kind of want to quickly throw in a comparison with the wide leg pants from Peppermint magazine, which are a pay what you want pattern, and they kind of have a similar vibe and shape. So I kind of want to compare those two for you, because obviously the Persephones, you have to buy them, so maybe you just go for the cheaper option and give a little tip to Peppermint magazine for a cheaper pattern, basically. Okay, so let's start with the measurement of the human we are dressing today. I'm taking my notebook to be accurate, but so. My bust is 95 centimeters, that's 37 inches and a half. My waist is 78 centimeters, that's 30 inches and a half. And my hips are 111 centimeters, that's 43 inches and a half. I am 1.65 meters tall, and that's about 5'5". So I hope that by saying all of my measurement, you can kind of already gauge if this little try on is going to be a good help for you if you have similar measurements from me. I have cut a size 14 for myself, graded down to a 12 for the hips. I'm actually a 10 in the hips, but I prefer grading to a 12 and adding a bit of elastic in the waistband than grading down 2 sizes. I find that when you grade down 2 sizes, it kind of almost loses the shape of the pattern. I mean, for me, it's like starting to tinker a little bit too much, so I preferred grading down only 1 size, and I thought I will just manage with the waistband afterwards. Also, I mean, in the waist, because when I sit, I have a lot more volume than, you know, when I'm standing up. I prefer being on the wider side than too narrow for sure. The pattern doesn't mention a height this have been drafted for. There is a finished garment in a leg measurement, so I did measure the inner leg and it looked like it was going to work fine, but like generally I like when they say this has been planned for someone this tall. Maybe it's not helpful because everyone's leg is different and that you want your pants like at a different length. I don't know, I was surprised that it was written nowhere, but seeing the length of the inseam, it looked like it was going to be fine, so I could work with that, and that was alright. So now I have my first grievance with the pattern, and it's that everything is in inches. So for me, already if you're making a free pattern, it should be in inches and metric. But if you are commercializing your pattern, selling it for actual money, and that people all over the world are buying it, you have to make it both. Like, sorry, but this is such a pain to have to figure out the inches when you are used to work with metrics. And I would like to add, because they have a little metric conversion table at the bottom of the size chart page, but that doesn't help you when you're at the fabric store and you're trying to determine how much yardage you need to buy, because the way you see your measurement, I know I'm 110 centimeters, so if I knew that 10 centimeters equal X amount of inches, I could quickly do the math in my head, but they did it the other way around. So they're like, an inch is so much. Basically it was impossible to do without a calculator and without a conversion. So it's fine, you can do a quick conversion on your phone in the store, but I just found that it's like that first step when you like start with your pattern, you start your project, and you already feel like not super cared for, you feel like you haven't been taken into account, and that's never a really nice feeling. And it led me to my first issue, which was I was at the fabric store and I was like, okay, this is the fabric I normally buy for my pants. And you know that there's like narrow fabric and white fabric. I'm like, okay, I'm using the white fabric, I'm taking enough, it's all good. Actually, the fabric, once I arrived home and I was like, oh, they say if you have a fabric that's 60 inches wide, the issue is that my fabric was, so 60 inches, that's 150 centimeters, and mine was 140. So I was missing 10 centimeters, which is about 4 inches, and I felt it. I started cutting and I was like, ooh, this is just too narrow to put on the fabric. Like I can't put the two pieces next to one another, and then after that I also couldn't put it on top of one another. I've tried different things. It started kind of on the wrong foot. I'm very lucky that my fabric is, one, non-directional, and two, it also doesn't have a front and back. Like you can really change your pieces whichever way you want. And so I ended up having one piece here and one piece going kind of like this, and that worked out for cutting the pieces. But honestly, if it had been converted in metrics, this would already not have happened and would have been a little bit easier. So not a super smooth start. Because I had to cut my pattern pieces in such a weird way, I ended up with no piece of fabric that was big enough to cut one big piece in the end with the waistband. So for the waistband, I had to piece it from two pieces of fabric. This is fine, I know how to do this. It wasn't, a big deal, but just to say, I was then like, okay, now I need to like trace this. And you can see from the images, I kind of like added 1.5 centimeters of seam allowance to make sure that obviously I counted the seam allowance for the piecing. I have not cut belt loops for this. I decided to make my version without belt loops. For one, my sewing machine is not amazing, and so I'm always a bit worried with very thick belt loops at how it's going to take them. But second, I never wear belts, ever, 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 because I really have the thing, if I put a belt on standing, if I sit, I want to die. And if I have the belt comfortable when I sit, when I stand up, it serves no purpose. So for me, it wasn't useful to have belt loops, and they were going to be tricky to sew anyway. So I was kind of like, oh, just skip them, it's all good. And then I also realized that I actually did not have matching thread. And when I was at the haberdashery, I didn't have a sample of my fabric. So I would have had to kind of choose randomly my thread color. I was like, oh, I could ask my wife to take a photo like as color accurate and send it to me, but I was like, oh, it's fine. And so in the end, I'm actually using contrasting white thread, and I really like the look that this has. It made it very challenging because you have to make your top stitching very neatly because it's super visible with the contrasting thread, but I kind of thought like it gives a really nice polished top stitching look, but at the same time I'm not switching constantly between a construction thread and a top stitching thread. Everything's in white, and it gives quite a, it impacts the look a fair bit. It does look a little bit more workwear in a sense to have all of the stitches visible, but I really don't mind it. I'm quite happy with the look of it. So to kind of match that, my zipper is also white, but anyway, you can't really see it, but it kind of matches the white and rust color scheme I have going on with those pants. So, and then we're gonna arrive to the next point that's going to make my life a little bit more tricky than it should be, but I have decided that I'm going to make a zipped version of the Persephone. And as you might know, they have an extension pack for the zipped version, but have I bought the expansion pack? No, I was like, I don't know, I feel like you already pay for the pattern, and I didn't feel like paying also for an expansion pack, which you're going to see, I'll mention later on in the video, but apparently it's very well done, and if you are not comfortable with zippers, it's worth it. It's just for me, I don't know, I feel like I've already paid money for the pattern. I just feel like no one wants button flies. Like, do people really want button flies? Whatever, you see what I mean. It was not my thing and I didn't want to pay for it. So if you don't want to pay for it, you have to suffer to, get what you want. So I had to figure out how to do my zipper. But what's important for the cutting part that I'm trying to kind of summarize now is that it means I didn't just cut all of the pieces for the zipper. I kind of looked at the pieces I thought, well, that's what I'll need to make my own zipper, and I went ahead. Also, when you start the pattern, on one of the sides you have to cut the extension and you keep it on the other side, and I was kind of like, I never had an extension doing my zipper flies, so I have cut the extension on both sides, which, foolish, I don't know, I mean, it worked in the end, so it was fine, but just so you know, like, I just went for it. I was like, I'll just cut both sides and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so then I kind of started vlogging properly. I stopped procrastinating the vlogging. So I will leave you with past Noémie, who was constructing the pants, and I'm getting you back in a second for some explanations. This is a bit too low, isn't it? I need to bring you guys up. Propped on the sewing box, that's better. I am currently sewing my Persephone pants. I'm careful about how I pronounce it because my wife told me I said it wrong again in my last video. And I have said in the last video that the next one would be the Persephone pants, and I'm like, I mean, I absolutely know that you guys would be so understanding, and that literally if something else came out, and I have so many videos that I've filmed and scheduled for later, so I could always bump one forward, but kind of like, like, you know, it's good, like, knowing that it's not the end of the world if in the end it wasn't finished and I could put something else up. It's nice to have the challenge of like, well, let's still try, at least try, to get them finished and to get that video up for Monday. But I don't know, like, when you know that it's going to be a bigger job and a bit more challenging job, like, the procrastination is so real, and I literally have done not much about them, but like every step I have to do, I really feel so much resistance coming from myself. Like, I really am like a child. I'm like, let me do the washing up, let me go and hang the laundry, let me, you know, go and do anything but this, basically. But I have stay stitched the top of the pants. I am sewing it in white. I guess I will have explained this in the intro, but I was looking at the stay stitching and I was like, I think white, it's not very straight stay stitching, but obviously the seam allowance doesn't matter. I think the white will look really nice on this rusty orangey, burnt orange color. But yeah, just feel like so much procrastination towards those pants. And because I like to suffer, apparently, I did not buy the expansion pack for making the zipper fly. So currently I'm kind of like pulling my hair out, trying to do a normal fly on those pants, and I hope that it's not going to end up being a massive waste of fabric. But I'm like, it's just a fly, right? Like, it's no reason to really panic. Basically, that's what I keep telling myself. It's just a fly. I'm going to make the fly. The thing I'm worried about is that if they end up not fitting and not being right, not being able to tell you for sure, is it because I changed the fly or not? But I don't think I'm changing anything about the fit. So yeah, so I'm curious how they're gonna go. I'm curious if I'm going to be able to recommend this to you or not. But I feel like at the moment I have two big frustrations with the pants, and the first one, I'm sure I've already said, I haven't filmed the intro yet, so I haven't, you know, it's like for me to wait because, yeah, but I'm sure I'm going to have said it in the intro, even though it's not filmed yet. But the fact that it's all in inches, like, well, it just makes it a little bit more complicated. But yeah, the fact that I'm doing a zipper fly when this is a button fly, I'm definitely making my life more complicated for myself right now. And yeah, if I had wanted to spend the money on the expansion pack, I would not be at this point now. But you know, I was cheap, so now I'm getting frustrated with the fly. But if you either make the buttons, which is a really fine option, I mean, it looks really nice. If you make the button fly, or if you buy the expansion for the zipper fly, you will not experience the frustration I'm currently experiencing. So, you know, it doesn't look like it, but it's the next day. I basically sewn my zip guard yesterday. That's it. So yeah, procrastination is real. I was literally like, I need to cuddle Milo. Milo needs cuddling. That's it. I'm going to work. Okay, it's going quite well. I'm still considering, oh, maybe I should redo this. Now I see it here. I'm like, I'm still considering maybe putting a little bit of reinforcements here. What is going to be the most pressure? Maybe here. Okay, fine. Like, thought it was fine, but now that I see it on camera, I'm going to redo that. But I am basically ready to sew the next side. It's really funny because this is clearly my lazy streak, and like, you should probably baste a zipper fly, but I can't be bothered. I prefer replacing my pins 60 times than basting anything. I'm starting school very, very, very shortly, and I'm sure I'm going to baste so much. getting ready for becoming that hand sewing person. I'm going to do that. Okay, and then I'll go back and I don't know. It's going to be so low on myself. Like I'll rethink about it. It's just that obviously when you go and look so close to the crotch, yeah, that looks a bit wonky, but no, maybe I'll still redo that. One thing I hope is not going to turn into an issue is that I did get the same size zipper as I had for my previous pants, but I believe the rise is a bit high on those. So I hope the zipper is still going to open enough so that I can fit in my pants. Hope, because it's not going to be fun if I'm stuck out of them. I've shown you, I've redone it, and I've redone it a second time, and I've re-sewn exactly in the same place. So I think I'm actually going to literally draw the line because it's currently not working really well. I don't actually mind this bit because I want that to be my reinforcement. So every time I'm retrying, I'm leaving this. It's fine, but I want this curve to be a little bit nicer. So let's make this happen. By the way, I'm the one who decided for the double line of top stitching. I really like that look. But if you do only one line, like many pens have, then it's going to be so much easier because the only reason it looks wonky is that you can compare with the line next to it. But if you didn't have, imagine only this line, it would look fine. This looks funny because you can compare with the next line. So if you want to make life easy for yourself, if you are a bit intimidated, make only one line and you'll be all fine. Also, I'm doing it in a super contrasty color, which is again my choice, but that's obviously not helping me in here. I'm sorry, the color on the camera keeps changing. I think the camera is hating those pens, but I'll try in the final shot to have it true to color so you can actually see what it looks like. Okay, I've traced it for myself to help with the sewing. We are going to agree that I'm really being nitpicky, but I am going to unpick this one more time and go again one more time. I have every time left the stitches here to make this more and more reinforced, same here. But actually I have sewn this from the inside and this from the top. And as you can see, the stitches look different and I want them to look the same. So I'm actually going to trace this line on the other side and sew it from the other side. Yes, I'm being a bit nitpicky, but I want it to look very neat and I don't know, I'm in a nitpicky mood for some reason. Milo is twitching next to me. Okay, Bobby. Enjoying the pants. They're really matching him really well. We're gonna do a great pair with me and those pants and him. Okay, I've redone it another 2 times and if I really want to be nitpicky, I kind of don't love that angle here. You can kind of see that I have a tiny bit of an angle, but I'm going to stop here because otherwise I'm going to redo this. Can you step less loud? You're being so loud. No, Milo, no one's at the window. Oh my God, someone rang the doorbell, so he's outraged. So yeah, so there's a tiny bump, but I am going to ignore it because otherwise, I don't know, I have lost count of how many times I've done this now. Another 2 times since the last time I talked to you. So this is where we're stopping. Milo, you done being grumpy? You done being grumpy now? He's such a grumpy assistant. That's it. My fly is done. My fly is done. Oh my God, it was a little bit of a faff, but not as much as I feared. I don't know. It was a faff, but it's still fun to make a fly. I have a little bit of something I want to address, which is that this is, because the fly here is longer than this bit, I have a bit of this happening. Should I just top stitch it here? Don't know if you see what I mean, but basically, so you have the fly like this and the zipper goes all the way here, but then there's that. Do I care or do I not care? I have seen on ready-to-wear pants a type of line in the bar tag here, and I'm maybe going to do that. A little bit of reinforcement. I think it might look all right. I'm going to go and look at my ready-to-wear pants, confirm, and then maybe do that. Then I'm done with the zip, which means I'm going to keep moving on and make the pants. And basically, yesterday I was telling my wife, it's like, there's no side seam, so it's basically the inseam. And then I'm done. I mean, obviously, there's darts, there's pockets, there's belt, there's the hem, but I feel like I'm basically finished at this point. Yay! Yes, so I confirm that I am going to do a line here and then a bar tack here to kind of shut this properly according to ready to wear. Now I'm realizing, because I already filmed a sew along with this weird background behind me, but I realized that you are seeing this before the sew along comes out. So you kind of wondering, what is this setup? And basically I have been kicked out from the living room and I am now in the office. You saw that I was sewing in the office when I was doing my Ogden cami top because it was really hot and it's a bit cooler in here. But then my wife kind of like got used to the fact that the sewing machine was not in the living room. So I've been kicked out. So now I sew in this room, and the issue is that behind me there's the street and my neighbors and a very, very direct view on their house and their apartments, and they like I don't have privacy curtains, you know, I just have those ones, and they also don't have privacy curtains. So if I didn't have this, which gives me a bit of a fortune teller vibe, I find, I'm not sure I like really love this background, but without that you literally see into the living room. So to protect everyone's privacy, we now have the fortune teller background, but yeah, that's a little like story behind that. You'll see that again because I have filmed other videos with this. It's just that it gets very dark in here. It's much brighter in the other room, which is fine at the moment because it's bright, but like maybe in the future I will have to re-go in the living room if I'm allowed. So yeah, I'm going to do this little bar tack here. And then I'm done with my fly, and then we'll keep going on with the pants, and I won't have any complaining to do anymore that is outside of the normal pants construction. I will be, you know, doing what is actually meant to be done. I'm still really pleased with my decision of doing white thread. I don't know if I will regret it at some point, but so far I'm really pleased with it. Okay, let's go. Actually, that's perfect. I have the Anna Allen pattern back on my computer. Sorry, I'm looking there because it's there. They actually have from the crotch. Yeah, they have edge stitching that are going up here and doing a bar tack. So I'm going to do exactly what's planned. Yeah, oh, that's perfect. Oh, great. Let's do this. My God, no, I'm like, that's a lot of visible stitching. I'm going to have to do a good job at it. Okay, we trust I can do this. This is fun. I'm having fun. I'm having so much fun. I have to say, doing everything in white thread is a little bit wild and a little bit out of laziness. Okay, it looks like it's wonky just because it's curving, but I did this very neatly. I'm very proud of myself. And I don't know, like normally you'd need to do your construction seams in the rust and then the top stitching in the white, but I'm like, YOLO, I'm doing what I want. And I'm having a ton of fun. Okay, this is very satisfying make. So very pleased with this, having a ton of fun. And yeah, I'm looking at it, feeling happy. Yeah, feeling good. So now back to the, well, I kind of like went back to the original pattern for the Persephone. And yeah, no, I'm going to, so I think the next step now is, yeah, it's the dots, and then, yeah, my God, like, okay, this, sorry, I have nothing to say. I just want to say this is fun and kind of like a proof to myself. I'm not always grumpy when I sew. Sometimes it's fun. I just need to make sure I stop early enough before I get too hungry and grumpy. But this is nice. This, if you can just keep it like this, like in case the rest of the pants really goes wrong, this is lovely and I like it. I think I'm not, so she top stitches her darts here. I don't think I will do that because white thread and having white lines on my butt, I'm not convinced that's the look I want. I will, however, give them a good press and make sure that they are going in the right direction, and, you know, make sure that when I sew the waistband, I keep them in the right direction. But yeah, I will skip the top stitching just because I've gone wild with my threads and I don't want something quite that visible. Taking a break, I am currently sewing my back seam, and then I'll basically do the inseam and we'll be basically finished. I mean, just the waistband, the pockets, and the hem. You know, I just wanted to comment. So now that I sew in the office, which we have renamed the sewing room, and like we live in a 2-bedroom apartment, I feel literally like it's the most luxurious thing to have a sewing room. Like, I really love that the office is not a sewing room. Like, every time I'm like telling my wife, like, I'm just going into the sewing room, like I feel like I have a studio. I feel very luxurious. But I have this type of chair, you know, like the swivelly chair that rolls, and Milo loves to sit very, very near me, which was fine when I was in the living room, but now that he's like literally sometimes his head on my swivelly chair, I always have to be so careful not to roll on him, because he's going to be upset at me if I roll on him, even though he's the one living dangerously. So that's one thing. And the other thing I want to say is that I just want to share my excitement. I don't know why I'm so happy now. Like, is it like just a good hour for me? I am starting school very, very soon. Like, so soon, I can't tell you. Well, I was going to say this rush of excitement. Let's face it, it started with a rush of panic, because the timetable, like, nothing matches. Like, the website says one thing, they told me one other thing. Now I have the timetable, it's like something else, and like massive freak out. But now it's like all figured out, and it's kind of like finally stopped changing, so I can finally like plan on something. I was really like, guys, like if you're a student, it's fine because your time is doing, you know, waiting for your class timetable. But it was like literally like I'm starting in just a few days and the timetable is still changing. It's not making it easy with work and all of those things. But now I'm like super excited. And we got an email from a teacher who's like, yeah, like don't forget to take this, bring black thread. They told us to buy white thread, but no, I need black thread. But like obviously it's like still not matching, and I need like a different type of thread. But yeah, it's fine. I have black thread, but it's just like kind of like the examples of like everything is always like not quite what you've been told. But yeah, I just wanted to say I'm so excited. And basically that's going to be a day of 8 hours of, I believe is going to be hand sewing, because yeah, with the material we've been told to bring, except if maybe there's machines there. Probably there's machines there actually. I have no clue. I shall let you know when I know. But like when I received the email, I was like, oh my God, it sounds like a lot of hand sewing is going to happen. It's because we have to take a thimble, the thing you put on your finger to hand sew. Thimble, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It starts to be very concrete and I'm very excited. I'm kind of like excited to tell you and like to also myself know what it's all about, because at the moment it's still like the total surprise, but it's coming very soon. So yeah, that's great. So the two message of these random clips are: one, not rolling over Milo, and two, so excited to start school. Like I also went to buy more things yesterday, so my like kind of like whole back to school haul is getting ready. I'm literally waiting to go to class to see what's up with the shears, getting my shears, and then I'm filming this haul for you. And I also thought that I would actually film like the comparison between what I'm having for school and my home kit, which is here. And like I have literally, so my wife Santa brought the sewing machine, but my wife got me this for Christmas when I started. And so basically it has like a basic pair of scissors and basically everything I needed to start. Like this kit was amazing. What did I add to this? I added the ribbon, is something I bought myself, the pen, the thread, scissors, and obviously all of the needles, but all the rest came with the kit. And I don't know, it just feels like such a good kit. I love it. I'm going to keep using it at home, and it served me so well for the first, well, soon 4 years of sewing. Oh my God, like, yeah, 3.5 years now. But yeah, I thought it would be interesting to be like, here are my home marking tools, and here is what I'm going to be using at school now, and kind of like compare. So yeah, just very excited. This is a really exciting time full of potential. And I'm going to go and finish my seam now. Let's stop procrastinating once more. But at least now I'm not doing it out of fear. I'm just because I'm like, yay, I'm so happy, this is so fun. But yeah, no matter if it's happy procrastination or scared procrastination, I should probably get sewing, because if we want this video by Monday, the pens need to happen. So let's do this. I'm having so much fun. Look at this. Oh no, that's the wrong side. Look at this. I was so proud of myself. I'm literally so chuffed. This looks amazing. It's slightly wonky in some corners, so I'm kind of like showing it fast. Keep moving so that you can't. I'll always run when I wear those pens so that no one can see if it's like properly nicely done or not, but I'm so glad. This looks nice. Oh, I'm having fun. Now I'm like, do I fit in this? This doesn't look very big. I have a lot of bum to fit. Oh dear. We shall see. Maybe it's going to be time for a break soon. I feel like my brain is slowly leaving. I wanted to have another chatty break because for you it's been not very long, but for me it's been a few seams. And yesterday we had our first rehearsal back at the musical, so for Legally Blonde, end of November. And it was really fun. It was really fun to be back in rehearsal and all the energy from rehearsals. Like, I'm really excited. And I think from next week, Milo is joining for rehearsals because he kind of needs to get used to the cast. He has the actors he's actually doing scenes with, but, you know, also just, getting used to everyone and to the atmosphere and to people singing around him and stuff. So from next week, he's coming to rehearsals with us, which is super cool. And we've just understood that my wife was looking at the kind of like that massive Excel that says like who is doing what. And she was like, you are the one bringing Milo for the, how do you call that? Is that curtain call at the end of the show? Wait. Thank you, Google. The curtain call. So I'm the one bringing Milo for the curtain call, which means despite not having myself a big role, I'm going to get, Milo is going to get, but I'll be bringing him big times, like big applause. So it's kind of fun. My God, I'm like so proud of my baby who's sleeping just here behind me. Hi, Chunky. It's going to be so fun. I'm very excited. I hope he's going to like rehearsals, but he loves people. So it's going to be like, I think we're a cast of 80, like it's quite a big show. So I think rehearsals are going to be a lot of fun for him. So yeah, sorry, I just feel very chatty today for some reason. Probably because my wife is gone, so I'm alone at home, and I realize if she's not there to talk to, then I end up talking to you guys. Okay, that's this is where we are. The pens are shut. Basically now I need to do the inseam, and then we, reaching something that really looks like pens. So very exciting. I don't dare to put them on at this point, even to see, like, there's sometimes I just don't want to know if something's wrong. I prefer discovering it later. Maybe it would be braver to want to know straight away, but I absolutely don't want to, so I'm gonna ignore the fitting for now. I think a pretty crucial point about doing this top stitching and all the stitching in white as well is that it really forces me to make things a lot neater than I'm used to. Because if you look at my Arden pens, which are in the same fabric as the pens here, except in grey, but like the thread was matching, and honestly, if you go and look closely at the seam, you can see like the two top stitching line are basically train tracks that go like this. But because here it's so visible, obviously I want to do a much better job. I just looked like my next step is going to do the inseam, but they also top stitch it, so it's going to be quite a squeeze to like make it go through the machine and top stitch it. So I'm a bit concerned because if I don't do it well, it's going to be very visible. But yeah, it's kind of nice because at this point, like now that the zip is done, but it's also the third time I do a zipper fly, so it's not like I was particularly zipper fly worried. Was worried because I took pens that were not made for a zipper fly and I just went for it. But at this point, it's basically just finishing pens. Like nothing is left that's very challenging in this. But because of the thread, I have to do a good job top stitching. But since I know I'm going to school, I always have kind of in the back of my head, like I need to stop going everything slapdash and make sure that it looks nice, because it's like time to practice making things nicely. So yeah, but it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, but yeah, I'm wondering how it's going to go on the inseam. Shall report back obviously, but hope it's going to be okay. I'm not like it. I can feel I definitely need a break, but I'm not really hungry for lunch yet, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my break yet. Shall see. Okay, well, I was literally just now watching a video by Carly B, and she said that she made the Persephone and that the zipper fly instructions were super, super clear and very easy, and that it made it super easy. So if you are scared of doing a zipper fly, buy the expansion pack, because by Carly B said that it was very good. If you are a rebel like me, just wing it, but it was not the most stress-free option, obviously, so apparently the instructions are very good, so that's good to keep in mind. Ooh. Okay, little feedback. I've just done the inseam and the top stitching on the inseam, and I don't want to show it to you. It definitely took the polished aspect of my pens right down. I'm literally at the point where I'm like, I think it would have been better not to top stitch that, or maybe to do only one line of top stitch. I don't know. In any case, Anna Allen has a really clear video on her website about how to do this top stitching. So if you don't understand the instructions, I found the instructions super clear. I thought I understood what I had to do. I checked with the video. I was like, yeah, perfect. That's what I had understood. So that's all good for me. But if you are confused with the instructions, there's also a video. So really you are covered. But even if the instructions in the video are really well done, I would just have rather not had to do that. Literally, like I'm super sore here now because, I don't know, it was so much pulling and stretching and trying to get the fabric in the right place. And that top stitching, oh, I can see it. That top stitching is not neat. So kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of annoying because it looked very good so far, and I'm like, well, it's the inside of the leg, so that's why I'm kind of just rolling with it. I think you're not really going to be able to see it realistically. Oh, that's really bad. I think I'm at the point where I'm like, do I try to redo it? But this was so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. Yep, that's really bad work. Oh, I just unpick it. Oh, I unpick it and do one line. Ooh, it's really bad right now, and I'm a bit sad that it brings the whole quality of my jeans down. In any case, I don't think I'm gonna have time to do this now. I'm gonna have to take Milo out. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I think I'm going to unpick it. I think I was kind of like, oh, it's between my legs, who cares? But I can see it, and really not making me happy. And I believe that maybe it's worth redoing, but it was so uncomfortable. I really did not have fun doing this. Maybe just unpicking it and leaving it undone. Oh, tough decisions to be made. Maybe I will leave it for now and unpick later. I don't know. In general, I go with done is better than perfect, but here it's like, is it even worth being done if it's done like this? Hello, Milo. Yes, we're gonna go soon. I think I'm going to have to unpick it. I still have time, before the video goes up. And I think it's worth, I don't want to have something so bad on me. Like, I'm going to go to school soon. I can't go to school with this. Okay, I'm going to unpick it, and then I'll go and take Milo out, and then I'll have to decide, but that's probably tomorrow then. I'll have to decide, do I remake it? And do I remake it double, or maybe if I take the time, it's just like I was trying to get it done. But maybe I really need to accept that this is going to take a while. So uncomfortable. I'm really in a lot of pain here. Like, it was, I don't know, like your strength workout on your machine. Didn't like that at all. I think it is clear to me that I do not enjoy the look of this. It's so annoying. I will unpick it and I will see later what I do. But yeah, there's no point keeping something made like this. This is too bad. Look at Milo while I unpick. He's like just sleeping at my feet. He's so cute. Bobby. Bobby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm putting you guys on my ironing board. That's actually very practical now that the ironing board is in the sewing room. It's very practical because, yeah, I can put it at the height I want. I'm like, it's actually very comfortable. I can be on the couch to film, so I quite like this. Okay, so I have unpicked everything from the inside, and now I'm going to remove the strings from the outside. I thought I'd do that with you because this is so satisfying once you've unpicked everything and you can just pick your thread. Like this, and just, that's an easy part of the work. But unpicking, so it's the two full lines of stitching Milo. Okay, if you are wobbling, it's because Milo's like, getting cozy on the feet of the ironing table. The active part, like the most difficult part of unpicking, took about, I done only 3. I was going to say it took me about 10 minutes, but actually, okay, let's do the other ones for the satisfaction factor. It took me 10 minutes to do the first 3. We are. I still have one to go. I really need to also get going because I have a meeting afterwards, not particularly fun one, a bit stressful, but sometimes it needs to be done. So yeah, okay, well, I'm going to finish unpicking this. I think I do like finishing on the unpicking because this way when you come back, you can start working and you don't have to start by unpicking. Milo, can you stop hitting the ironing board? Thank you. Okay, one more to go, but it's not too long because once you get the constructions of the stitch, you can kind of like pull long strings. And then as you can see, the next side goes very fast because you just pull the second thread and that's very quickly done. Okay, well, I'll leave you here. I'm going to just unpick my last thread and we'll see each other, I assume, tomorrow to re-top stitch all this. I hope that having talked to you guys, I'm making this video because I know some of you are a bit intimidated by making those pants and you want to know kind of like how it is. And I feel like now I'm not doing a really good job at showing you that it's fine, but it's also the truth. Like, I'm definitely not a beginner and I find top stitching this really not fun. I think depending on the shape of your machine, it might also be quite a bit different because I was looking at the video she had and definitely she's not I mean, yeah, her machine is shaped a bit differently. Like, you have to remove as much of the extension as you can, but I haven't, yeah, whatever. If you are doing this, you know, but I hope I'm not making you scared of doing those. It was really fine so far. It was fun and now it's less fun, and now I'm also getting stressed because of timing, so I need to get going. Okay. See you tomorrow and hopefully we'll be a bit more positive. Unpicking, sleeping. So it's the evening, but if you know me, you know I won't be able to sleep before I test this out. So the plan is I'm going to do one line of top stitching, and if I feel like it was easier, sorry if you can hear, you're loud. So I'm going to try one line of top stitching, and if it's easier, if it works well, then I'll do a second one, and if not, I'll keep it at one line and hopefully that'll be neat. So I went for one line of top stitch. It did feel a little bit easier than the first time round, but as you can see, if you look closely, it's still not perfectly straight. And yeah, here I kind of like gave up and went via this way to finish up, so you can kind of see that. But yeah, I decided, okay, it's not perfectly straight, but this is neat enough, and that still reinforces the seam a little bit. If I go for a second time, like, I'm not sure I can make it look neat enough, you know, make it straight enough. No, I don't know, because like, this is actually not badly done. This is not badly done, but I don't think a second line of stitching is worth the stress this is going to give me when one line works fine. And I think I'm quite happy with this. Like, I think that's neat. And yeah, don't know if I have it in me to try a second line. Don't know if it's worth the pain to go a second time. So I don't know how much you can see. Can you see? Oh, can you see the top stitching here? Okay, so in the end, I decided to go for one line of top stitching. The reason being, if you have two lines and they're not perfectly straight, it's much more visible than if you have one line. The eye can't compare with a line just next to it if it's straight. I mean, you could compare with the seam, but that's really not as visible than two white lines. If they're not perfect, you can see it. And there, I have to say, I don't know if my knowledge of pants construction kind of like held me back, because it made me very upset about the whole thing. But like, normally when you make pants, they obviously have a side seam, because the whole gimmick or like fun thing about those pants is that they don't have a side seam. But so normally you start with the inseam, you top stitch it twice like it's planned to do, and then afterwards when you sew your side seam, you either don't top stitch it, or if you top stitch it, you top stitch it all the way down to your pocket, bow tack a little bit, because there is going to be quite of pressure on the seam when you shove your hands into your pocket, but then that's it. You do not top stitch on a tube, because that is as frustrating as you saw it being, you know, for yesterday's Noémie, who was really not having a lot of fun with this. And so I don't know, I'm a bit like, well, that's great that you have the fun pants that have no side seams, but then it doesn't make it more possible or comfortable to do top stitching on the inseam once the pant leg is closed. So I don't know if my machine was particularly difficult with it. Like I saw in the video, like she's removing the extension, and I think more of her machine comes off than on mine. Or it's just like I don't have the patience. Like it was genuinely very tricky. Like it's to the point where, yeah, I redid the first one. I kind of didn't want to have it like fully not top stitched, but it wasn't fun. And I don't know, I mean, you saw in the clip, I was kind of frustrated, and I don't know if it works with every machine, the technique they tell you to do, and then you're kind of stuck. And yeah, so just want to say, like, this is the reason why this is so difficult. It's because you don't have that thing where you can start with the inseam and then, you know, not top stitch the second seam. So because you're working in a tube, it's a pain, and that's just how it is. Honestly, if you're making the pants and you're struggling, I would recommend doing only one line of top stitching like I have done. It's going to be a little bit less strong because the 2 lines of top stitching are there to make your seam super strong, but I mean, at some point, it also depends, because I have pants that I made in the past where there is 2 lines of top stitching and they're definitely not straight, but because they match the fabric, you can't really see them and it doesn't matter. So maybe if you don't mind, you know, and you just want the strength, you have them matching your fabric, or if you maybe just do one to still have a little bit of strength, but you know, if you can have them looking good, all the best for you. Like, that's all I wish for you, is just if you are struggling like I was, well, one, you're not alone, and you know, it's not like my first rodeo, so just want to say, like, if you are struggling, it's not entirely your fault, I think. And yeah, maybe consider doing only one line. Sorry for all the complaining. I mean, I'm sure you understand I wouldn't have complained that much if I didn't actually find it quite painful. But I realized I never asked, but I'm really, really curious. If you have made the Persephone pants, how was it for you? Like, did you also have that? Like, if I'm not alone, like, please let me know I'm not alone. But also, if you have any good tips, like maybe I don't know, I have seen the video, but you know, anything that might be interesting. Like, I'm really curious to know your experience, because I'm sure some of you have already done those pants. Okay, and then after all of that vlog section, I kind of like took the pants this morning and powered through and finished them off. So I have finished the pockets, and I have to say I'm not super happy with the pockets. I find them very small. Like, I mean, I don't know if you see what a struggle it is to put my hand in there, but it's not like, what's that? Like, it's not a comfortable pocket. Maybe it's like, can I fit my phone? Is it comfortable to put a phone? Maybe it's like, okay, fine. I guess it's really to put your thumbs like this, and absolutely not to put your hands in. Like, there's, God, if I had to go and get something in the bottom of this pocket, like, what a pain. So I find the pockets quite small. They aren't graded up as the sizes go up, which, you know, like, if you are a bit larger, maybe your hands end up a little bit larger too. And I don't know, so that's also like a point where I'm like, maybe consider making, you know, put your hand on the pocket piece and make it a size that it's going to make you happy, because life is too short for 2 small pockets. Quick something I wanted to add with the pocket is that one thing I have done to try to have this seam line as close to the opening of the pocket as possible, because, you know, if you have this big gap, it wouldn't look really nice, but to also not sew over your pocket, which would sew it shut, I have actually marked the line, because with my marker, I could actually really feel where the pocket was starting, and this way I had this traced line that really helped me to not sew over my pocket, but go really close to it. And for one of the pocket, I found that the line was a little bit more so I actually went a second time to correct it. So, you know, don't hesitate to look at it, see how it goes, and like take your time to make it neat, because I think it's really worth it to have that very neat finish on the pocket. I then had a little bit of a weird experience with the waistband construction, and I'm very curious if some of you have also done the Persephone pants, if you also have had this experience, if you remember. When they start the instruction and they tell you on which side of the waistband you should put your interfacing on, it then for me doesn't match. And like, I have checked it, so I don't know if I'm like totally bugging on this, and maybe it's me and my brain has like not worked. That's fine too. But like, for me, the way I put my interfacing, then it wasn't the right side. That was like the sides weren't matching with what they were saying afterwards. And because my waistband is cut in the middle, I absolutely wanted the center back line to be on the seam, because otherwise it would look a bit weird to have that, you know, extra seam not centered. And with pants, maybe you don't know, but like your right and left sides are actually not exactly the same length, because one is going underneath, so it's a little bit longer. So yeah, so if I wanted the long sides to be on the correct side, then my center seam wasn't aligned anymore. So maybe it's an issue as small as the center seam is badly marked on the pattern, and no one really cares, because like normally you have your whole piece anyway, so you don't really care where your center seam is. Obviously I did, because I had a seam right in the center. So yeah, just like curious if anyone had an issue with that, because in the end the piece that's on the outside for me is the unlined piece. I had to flip it around to make it work, but you know, the lined piece tend to be a little bit flatter because it's lined, so it's harder. So yeah, so small detail, I'm wondering if it's me, I'm not sure if it's the pattern, but something happened there. And very small point, but I kind of disagreed with the waistband construction. So after you sew your waistband to your pants, I prefer doing a line of stitching. I'll put the photo for the construction method that they talk about in the white leg pen from Peppermint magazine, because that's the construction I prefer to do, sewing that line, kind of trimming the seam allowance and turning it over. It makes it much neater than turning it over like they say and flipping it, where then you might end up with stuff poking out. I don't know, I just find it neater the way I've done it. It's the way I prefer to do it. So just like very small note for where I have veered off from the official construction method. And yeah, finally, so much top stitching on the waistband. I was like, this is a conspiracy theory. Big top stitching has pulled the strings here and there's top stitching everywhere. But to be honest, I am very happy of how it looks. Like, I didn't quite believe I could make such a neat top stitching all around the waistband. So I am very, very pleased with that. I truly didn't believe I could do something like this, so that I was very happy with. But yeah, that's a lot of top stitching. It's quite fiddly, but to be honest, it went a lot faster than I thought. So when you arrive to that point and you're like, oh my god, that looks like a lot, first, don't rush it at the end of the day. If it's like past 10 p.m, like maybe it's time to leave it for tomorrow. Take your time, but it's really not that bad. It's not as much as it looks. It goes quite fast, and I mean, just take your time so it's neat, obviously. I'm currently editing the video and I'm looking at my waistband and I can really see that it's rolling over. I'm also wearing the pants still today and I can really see that they keep rolling over, and I think that my fabric is maybe not heavy enough, and that with the fabric I have chosen, I should maybe have interfaced both sides of the waistband to try to give it a little bit more structure. My Arden pants are also made in this fabric, but because they have the elastic inside, the elastic is keeping the waistband up. So yeah, just realizing that maybe more interfacing could have helped, because it's rolling over quite a bit. I don't really mind. It's so high-waisted, it doesn't matter if I lose a little bit of height, but just something to note if that's something that might bother you. Maybe if your fabric is not heavy enough, add some interfacing in it. So an issue that came up with the waistband, and that I absolutely expected being more hourglass figure, is that the waistband was really gaping at the back. So I have a few clips which I will show you now. And the reason why the waistband gape is that this waistband is cut as a big rectangle. So if you think a big rectangle, you fold it in two, you have a long rectangle. And when you have a long rectangle and you put that on someone who's hourglass, I mean, even if the waistband is like, how much is it? Is it 4 centimeters? My waist goes in quite dramatically in 3 to 4 centimeters. It's just how it is. So one thing that you could do to counteract this, if you are more my shape, because I think this waistband is going to look great on people who are more like straight up and down, but if you are very curvy, it doesn't work. So you have two options. One, you make a curved waistband. So if you have the white-legged Peppermint magazine pattern, then you can actually see how their waistband is going like this. You cut two of them, you sew them together, and then you sew that. And that means that your waistband is going more in a triangular shape and is going to really hug better around your waistline. So the shape of the waistband itself is going to help a lot. I personally wanted to actually test the Persephones as they are drafted to, show you what it looks like on a curvier figure, but there was a lot of gaping. So what I have done is that I have sewn a little bit of elastic inside the back of the waistband. I have sewn it to the inside of the waistband so you can't see it from the outside, and that really helped it hug my back. Now, if I change size, this elastic is top stitched to death. As you can see, the waistband is really top stitched quite heavily. So the elastic is held within the waistband in a way like I'll never be able to take it off. It's going to take a ton and a ton of unpicking. So when I sewed the elastic, I just really made sure that this was taut to make sure that the elastic was well spread within the waistband, and now you can see that it comes and hug my back. It does create a little bit of fold because obviously it's an elastic, so it's almost like the back here is gathered, but it does give me a little bit of room because it's elastic. So it does, I am happy to sacrifice the look for a little bit of extra comfort, but it's something you need to keep in mind. If you do a curved waistband, you are going to have this issue less. I will actually show you on my wide-legged pants what that looks like. But so, can we make this pattern in a way that's more friendly to body fluctuations? Because no, you're like, Noémie, you're all about like body fluctuation and everything, and like, can your body fluctuate in those pants? Well, not so much. I have the tiny bit of wiggle room I've shown you in the waistband, but to be honest, that's not really where I put on weight. This is more really to make sure that the back fits on my back and doesn't gape, so that's not so much an alteration that's going to help with body fluctuation. Obviously it's elastic, so it does give a bit of comfort, but that's not really what's going to help. If you really want to make this pattern a little bit more body fluctuation friendly, one thing you could do is remove the darts to make sure that you have a little bit more room. So either you fully get rid of the top stitching and you have kind of like traditional elastic in the back of your waistband, which then means that it's easy to change if you need to. You just unpick the one line, you open your waistband, you change the elastic. That's not too much faff. But another option is to have buttons on the inside and those elastics that have buttonholes attached so that you can kind of like adapt it as you go. But naturally, this pattern is really not made for body fluctuation, so you will have to tweak it a fair bit to make it more friendly in that sense. And you might lose what is pretty about the pattern, which is the definition over the bum. And yeah, that's a bit of a trade-off you need to think about, because just the elastic I have put, you can see it already affects the look a little bit. So the question number one, does this pattern look good on people that have more of an hourglass figure? And I think I'm really going to say a massive yes to this. I tried this on and I felt really beautiful, and I really had the moment where I was like, wait, is everyone on Instagram tall and slim, or does everyone look tall and slim in this pair of pants? I don't know, but honestly I put them on and I was like, okay, this is flattering, this is holding your bum in a very nice way, and then the white leg and the length, like it works really well. It's super well drafted. For me, the length of the pants was spot on. I had to do absolutely nothing to it, so honestly it looks as pretty on an hourglass figure on a short and curvy person than on the people you have seen on Instagram. So for that, if you were thinking, are they for me, they might be for you, because they really look good. I realized that in the video I forgot to mention the price of the pants. So I paid 21 euros of fabric, 4 euros for the zipper, and I didn't count the price of the thread because I didn't buy a specific color of thread for this project. I used my big spool of white thread, so I mean, you could add a little bit of something for that, but I'm not counting it. And the button on the pants is also something I had fully forgotten to buy at the haberdashery when I went for the zipper. I didn't want to go back, so I just found one, like magical button box. I assume you also have one of those boxes. So I'm also not counting the buttons. So 21 plus 4 euros, that's 25 euros for the pants. So I think for a nice pair of pants, that's a really, really good price. So I'm really happy with that. And I didn't mention what the fabric actually was, but it's a cotton canvas. So it's like a heavy cotton that has a nice amount of structure in it. And for the second point, which is how they compare with the wide leg pants from Peppermint magazine, and for that I would say I have made two versions of the wide leg pants from Peppermint magazine. The first one I've made was this blue linen pair. I don't have elastic in the back for this one because I kind of followed the pattern, and you can see that the back is hugged a lot less. So, you know, you don't have this nice definition over the butt. Like they're a little bit more of a big tent than really like the shape that I have here, which I feel is a little bit more sexy over your bottom. And this is taking into account that those blue pants I have already taken in after I finished them, because I thought that they were a little bit too wide legged. Like I really felt like I was just like in a teepee and I wanted a little bit less. So that's already the pattern a little bit altered once I had finished the pants themselves. And then I have made this version in the leopard print, and there I have made them a lot more comfortable and weight fluctuation friendly by not sewing up the darts but putting elastic in the back. I really love doing this. They fit super well with the curved waistband. They really like fit me perfectly in the waist. Here's what I've done to them. Made them longer, because that's also the thing. The Persephones are really drafted long, which I think helps with this elongating effect that they give you. So the wide leg pants, I lengthened them on that version and they're still not very long. And I removed 3 centimeters of the rise because, as you can see on the blue pair, they really come up quite high. Now I think that the blue pair, I'll compare on the photos, but I think the blue pair comes as high as the Persephones here. But yeah, just so you know, for the leopard pair, I have taken a bit of the rise. So should you make them or not, that's really up to you. I just want to say that compared to the wide leg pants, which I've already done, I do feel like they have a little bit more of a polished look. I don't think that not having the side seam really brings anything. If anything, it makes a little bit more waste because it's more difficult to put your pieces on the piece of fabric you have. So I don't really know if that part of the pattern is really adding value. I was quite happy with my second version of the wide leg pants, where I have tweaked them so they work a little bit better for me. But I also can't deny that the Persephone pants just really have a nice look and are really, really well drafted. So that's kind of like the information I have for you. You can make your own decision, seeing the different options and to see if those ones are for you. Except for that inseam, they're really not that hard to sew, so you can definitely do this. Like, I know that many people have messaged me being like, oh, I'm so scared to like cut into it and like make it. Honestly, it's fine. They're not so bad. It's well explained, especially like if you understand inches well, you don't even need to translate everything as you go. So you're going to be totally fine. Like, really go with confidence. The instructions are super clear, it's well done, so you have no fears to have here. Okay, I have talked enough. Okay, so the key points here are, it's only in inches, and so if you are used to using metrics, maybe that's something that might put you off using this pattern a little bit. The pattern is drafted with the button fly. If you prefer a zipper fly, you have to buy the expansion pack, or you have to figure it out yourself, so that's also a choice to make. Stylistic and also practicality. It's a bit more annoying to have to undo buttons every time you go to the loo. I personally find the pockets too small, but depending on your use for them, if you never shove your hands in your pockets and you're just going to slide your phone in, maybe it's fine for you, but I would say maybe check the size of the pockets with your hand before you cut them. Also because you can't see them, you know, they're fully inside. There's just this bit here is visible, but so it wouldn't affect the look if this was a little bit longer, really. So you could make them fit you in a sense that makes you happy, and it wouldn't affect the look of the pants per se. And be prepared to do a lot of top stitching at the same time. You know, make sure you're not sewing at midnight. Take your time, enjoy the process. I'm warning you now that you're going to be doing a lot of top stitching, so you know you can do this and be patient and work slowly on it and you'll be totally fine. Finishing with the explanation I had about the waistband, which is if you are really hourglass figure, you might need to want to either swap for a curved waistband or add a little bit of elastic in the back, like I have done in this video. And that's it for my pattern review. I hope this video was helpful for you if you're about to cut into your Persephones. I know that many people have them on their list for their autumn make, so I hope that if you make them you really enjoy the process and that you are really happy with your pants afterwards. I really enjoyed filming this video for you. If you enjoyed the video too, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed so that you come back and see what I'm up to on the channel. And don't forget that you can make anything, including those pens if you want to. I totally believe in you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye! They have its edge stitch blah blah blah. Persephone pens. Persephone. I can't say.